Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to another edition of the Good Morning Education Show. My name is Rotimi Eitai, and it's such a pleasure to be here today. We're going to be having a great time. But then, first and foremost, I'm streaming from Lagos, Nigeria to West Africa to Africa and the entire world. If this is your first time on the show, please do let us know because we are always excited to greet our first timer on the show. We have what we call the bell of blessing, and the bell of blessing is there for you to experience. And of course, on the show, we always try as much as possible to listen to your comments, your suggestions, ask questions if you must. And of course, we're always excited to give answers. We have experts, we have analysts, and sometimes we do have guests on the show who come up and then share their thoughts, their experiences, and sometimes their plans and programs on the show. All we do on the Good Morning Education Show is to make sure that you have a great time as we learn together, share together, and ultimately as we also grow together. Once again, my name is Rotimi Itai, and welcome to the Good Morning Education Show. And without wasting much time, let me welcome and bring up one of our analysts on the show, Folu Falodun. Good morning, Folu. How are you today?
Good morning. I am very well. Good morning to our tribe. Good morning, Nigeria. And welcome to today's show. It's
And
promises.
good morning, Internet.
Yeah, good morning, Internet. We salute
You know,
you.
to give honor to whom honor is due. In Nigeria, you have to recognize Internet is a principality sometimes. And so that you don't have a guest having connectivity issue. Dr. Motola is trying to connect. And so even in the US, internet has mouth. All right, let's also bring up she was hiding her face yesterday, but today it's like she sipped some courage juice. So without wasting more time, she was the first time guest yesterday, but today she's not a first time guest. She's now a part of the tribe. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Adama all the way from Abuja.
Good morning, Coach Rotimi. Good morning, CN.
Hello,
Adam,
Adama.
Adama, which juice did
Happy
you
to
sip? Let's see
it's
the
a
little
confidence
one.
juice.
Let's see the little one.
Classic one.
Say hello to us. Hello, dear. How are you? Good morning. Oh,
It's just
good
getting up.
morning. Yes, fantastic. All right, thank you very much. And of course, Gideon Essien is saying hello to us from the city of Port Harcourt. Good morning, Gideon Essien. Thank you for joining. And we would like to invite and bring up someone who is also new in our midst. Is a very interesting personality and is a facilitator, is a trainer, is a consultant. And of course, I won't be doing much of the introduction because he has the time to introduce himself. But let me bring up our guest on the show today. He's going to be sharing with us some thoughts on an upcoming program. And of course, we're going to put questions out to him on the topic of the day and also ask him for his own views around the headlines within the world and around the world of education. So without wasting much time, let's invite Taiwo Adepoju. Good morning, sir. You're welcome to the show.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Itara, for having me on the show. Good morning, analyst.
Yes.
Morning.
Good morning. You're
So,
welcome.
because it's your first time, we have to ring the bell for you. So, that bell blessing is for you. Thank you for joining. Okay,
Thank you
without
so
wasting more time, what we do on the show is we spend some time to analyze the headlines before we get to the topic of the day. So we're going to start with some of the news, and we go around the analysts. Fiyinfolu will take charge of this segment, and we will continue from there. So Fiyin, over to you.
Okay, so, this morning, looking at the headlines from the headlines we have this morning. The first one says UTME mass failure. Jump killing education in Nigeria, says tutorial operators. Let's take your thoughts on this. Do we start with Adama? Yeah. Adama, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Okay. I'm actually just okay. So, I mean, mass failure in job and education, it's quite. I mean, it was expected. Looking at the academic year we had in 2020, it was expected. Um, However, I'm looking at a situation whereby JAMB possibly, adjust their cutoff scores for um, some of the candidates. They could cut off could reduce the cutoff score and enable more people to have access to going into school. So yes, the failure was expected. I'm just looking at maybe reducing the expectation for this year. It wasn't easy for students last year. It wasn't easy for teachers last year as well. So that's my take.
All right. Thank you. Over to you, Mr. Taiwo. I'm sorry I didn't catch your last name.
All right, Ikwaji. Okay. Well,
Thank
I must say that it's also alarming, to say the least, notwithstanding the fact that we had the pandemic and all the issues that lingered. But this also points to some of the things that requires us to urgently declare a state of emergency in the educational sector. So I truly feel that, well, this is a pointer, and that's also the cue I'm taking from this. We can't have our children failing at this point and expect to have economic development or growth in Nigeria or indeed Africa, as the case may be. So that's my position.
Thank you very much. On JAM and UTME, I have rested my case. So on to the next, on to the next item. Education is blames COVID-19 for students' low UTME scores. Okay, here we go again with COVID-19 being the culprit for the low scores in UTME. Okay, Adama, what's your thoughts on this? Okay, looks like her video is frozen. And okay, so Omotola is here. Welcome, Omotola.
Good morning. Thank you.
Good morning. So maybe we start this with you. They're blaming COVID-19 for students' low UTME scores.
Like we've said before in previous shows, it is not about the pandemic. I think that is just irresponsible of them to just blame COVID-19. Yes, there's a role that plays in it, but at the end of the day, that is why they are not technology, that they are human beings. They could have reviewed the data that they have, known that, okay, students cover only this curriculum, they didn't cover this curriculum, and adjusted the test based on where the students are. But they didn't do any of that, at least not that we know about. So just blaming COVID-19, I don't think that is responsible of them or is going to change anything in the future. The point is, examine what has happened. Yes, the pandemic had an effect on it. What can they have done better? What can they do in the future? So it's not enough to just blame the virus. What are they doing? How are they being proactive? They're reacting and they're not responding. And I think I'm really tired of them just blaming something without even giving a solution or saying, okay, this is a step of how we are going to fix it or what we are going to do better in the future. Because they blame the students, they blame the parents, they blame the school, and now they are blaming COVID-19. So when are they going to blame themselves? That's what I'm waiting for.
Okay, Mr. Depoju, what's your thoughts on this?
Okay, so let me claim myopia as to the rot that has so destroyed the educational sector. It also shows that education is becoming very boring, and that because so there are a couple of things that have also moved on, even notwithstanding the pandemic. So it also shows where the attention lies and how we have left this institution called or this sector, that is set to help us. We've left it in a comatose position. We need to bring in some fire and energy, retool and re-engineer the entire process. So it's not just casting aspersion or blame, the finger is also pointing back to everybody. We are all stakeholders, parents, teachers, the government. In fact, everybody on the Good Morning Show. Sorry about
Yes, we all are stakeholders. Thank you. And our next headline, ATM in collaboration with Samsung, empowering Nigerian youth through ICT vocational education to reduce unemployment and insecurity. There is a collaborative effort to reduce, to empower Nigerian youth through vocational education. Adama, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can. My network has been
Okay.
acting up, but yes, I can hear you now.
Don't worry. We'll send some special greeting your way for your network. What's your thoughts on this?
Good one. Excellent. Nice initiative. I just hope they'll be able to see through it. Vocational education is one of the best ways to reduce unemployment. The idea is to equip people with skills that they can use, actual skills that they can use um, in in today's world. So my idea is I hope they have a good curriculum for for the classes. I hope the learners will be able to learn skills that the world needs today, not the type we learned when we were in school. So yes, it's a good development, and I'm looking forward to that.
All right, thank you. Mr. Adepoju, let's take your thoughts on this.
Awesome. I think we need more of these partnerships, and this is the kind of things we are clamoring for. And this also shows that um, companies can also become more responsive or responsible in their actions towards helping to build the economy. So I truly encourage others to follow suit in this line.
Thank you. On to the next headline. Lagos, okay, Auchi Poly inaugurates 110 capacity ICT center. Uh, Omotola, what do you
Uh,
think?
I think it's a great one, but my only is my plea is that it will not become like a shrine where they don't really allow students to use it. You know the way that people like they make it and they turn it into like these rooms that only protocol and like the goal is to be make it useful. So I really hope that it will not become a shrine that only the special of the special, the only of only can enter, but it can actually become a tool that can really be practical and student can use it because there's no point in making it a decoration and a show. The goal is to use it and help the student learn the skills so that they can use that and enhance their employability in the market and to also make change and innovation happen. So where to go for them investing in that, but I hope they really the end user are able to use it and it's not a decoration or just for show.
All right. Mr. Depoju, do you want to contribute to this?
Okay, so just I just feel that so there's a value chain, and so this is like the entry point. So the intention for this would need to be highlighted. That way we know that hey, this would probably also impact the community and indeed the school as it were. And almost like the earlier speaker said, so that it doesn't just become a project commission because they had to award a contract to a contractor. Okay, that there will be clear dividends and there will be the we are able to measure this impact, and that would be my submission at this point. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have any more? Ogele e-learning. Ogele e-learning will revolutionize education in Africa. That's the Ogele e-learning center being instituted for e-learning. Omotola, what's your thought?
I hope that it happens soon, because I think we've been playing fast and slow with these e-education, and then the world is leaving us behind. Like, think about it. Like, the pandemic has happened like now for about a year, yet as how many percentage of our school, whether secondary school or higher education, is really using e-learning, and have you use it for their good, or have the system and the database to actually take hold of, like, help students to be successful and transition easily when we had that kind of issue. Not that they have to be out of school for 4 months, 6 months, and the likes of that. So I really hope that the adoption is faster than it has been, because I think we've not really adopted it as fast as we can. And I guess that's part of the infrastructural issues and system that we have. But if we can make it happen and even think about it every year, like, I think it was yesterday, we said 1.6 million register for WAEC. Of course, not all the universities and polytechnic we have cannot take 1.6 million students, even if they all pass. So imagine if they can create this other pipeline of having for courses and majors that can actually that can thrive well on using e-learning platform, that can open up more space, create more revenue for schools. But the question is, are they willing to do what it will take to create the system and the infrastructure to be able to take advantage of it? And so I'm hopeful, but at the same time, like, is it going to be 10 years from now or 5 years from now? Only God knows.
It actually will be unveiled in the last quarter of 2021. So
Let's
yeah,
hope so.
something to
From your
look
ears
forward
to God's
to.
mouth.
Something to look forward to. Adanma, I know this is up right up your thoughts. So what's your opinion on this?
I have 100% believe in e-learning's e-learning revolutionizing education in Africa. Yes, because I mean, think about it. When learners are able to interact and own their own learning, there is more effectiveness. Children learn better. Academic performances would improve by the e-learning facilities. So yes, I'm looking forward to this, and I hope that it comes as quick as possible. And then not just the academic performance of the children. Think about the opportunities that it gives to teachers. Think about our economy and how the opportunities that are available to teachers with an e-learning platform available in the world today. So yes, I'm looking forward to it, and it's definitely going to be life changing.
Thank you, Mr. Adepoju.
Okay, wow, this truly just gets me to ask a question. What, so technology is an enabler, okay? To what extent would this technology be used to dissipate the right type of education? So could it accelerate underdevelopment? Like if you are teaching people how to ride a horse, or would it accelerate technological development, like teaching people how to fly or make drones? Okay, so it still boils down to content. So I'm hoping that beyond this landmark, drive, which portends a great, a positive trend in Africa, we also need to revisit the content, and I'll just drop at that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we have something about Lagos Suburb. Okay, there's a news from Lagos Suburb, and Lagos Suburb promotes farming in public primary schools. I really would like to hear from everybody on this, and I'll start with Mr. Depoju.
Yeah, so promoting farming, I think, well, this is one of those things that we also need to further entrench. Apparently today I'll be speaking at the UNEDO conference in Germany as to how ICT and agriculture can move pari passu to advanced development. Because clearly we're experiencing, at that point where there's a food crisis. So it's important now that we need to start educating people on the needs, okay, and the things that can easily help us recover faster than the things that are cake. Let me give you a classical example. why would you want to keep teaching students how to type or learn shorthand? To what economic benefit is that? So, this is clear danger. So, can we get more people interested in agriculture? And this will just be my submission. I think this is a good trend. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Omotola?
Very excited about this, and this actually validates my my drive and my mission, because I have always loved agriculture since I was a small child, and every opportunity I had, any spare space of land, I used to practice it once I learned it in secondary school. So I'm glad that they're starting from the primary school level. They're teaching them, and it seems as if they even open bank account, and they want to teach them not just the like farming itself, but the business of farming. So how do you make it from just farming to like making profit out of it? I wish I learned that, because I had to do a lot of trial and error. And now having 10 acres of land later, I will have it will have helped my growth and my agricultural business then. So I'm really excited for this. And I know it's only 51 schools they've rolled it out to right now. I'm hoping that more schools can get funding, and this can actually be a trend that it's not just going to be within the schools, but students can be encouraged to also do that within their community as well. So this is exciting, and I really hope that it's something that definitely keeps growing and growing larger, and more students have opportunities for it.
Thank you, Omotola. Adama? Your mic seems to be muted.
Okay, I was saying, I'm sorry, yes, I've unmuted that. I do hope that they have the appropriate and the right content for education, agricultural education in today's world. I'll keep saying that. I remember when we were doing agric in school, one thing that they were quick to do was make it look like farming was a poor man's kind of business. So I hope they're able to make it look attractive. I hope they teach them the business of agriculture. I hope they teach them the opportunities that are bound in agriculture. I just hope they make it interesting and fun for the learners, and they're able to take it to other parts of Nigeria. Yes, agriculture, I fail to say that farming is our own, is our thing, and it's something we should do with pride. Enough of making it look like it's a poor man's business. A lot of people are billionaires today from just farming. Thank you.
Thank you. And one thing that I would hope is that the children who are doing this farming also get to reap of the harvest of the farming, not that they're farming for the school or farming for a government parastatal organization, but that they actually are able to take out of the work of their hands, because that has a great impact in encouraging them to continue and not just they don't see themselves as just slaving off for somebody else to eat off the fruit of their labor. And with that, I will be handing over the next segment, which is the grant of the day, to Omotola to take us through.
Sure. So the grant of today is from Sigo Family Foundation. The deadline is rolling, which meaning you can apply at any time between these years. So there's no specific date, but the earlier you get your application in, the better. The grant ranges from $10,000 to $30,000. You can use this fund for field of work in career and college preparation, youth development and leadership, tutoring, mentoring, vocational and trade education, reproductive health, HIV/AIDS, sexually transmitted disease, reproductive education, high school workforce preparation and job readiness, teen parenthood education, or higher education. And I think this is a great grant that fits most of the headlines that we spoke about. Think of the farming, the ICT, the vocational trade. So if you are an educator or even a nonprofit that focus on education or secondary school or higher education, this would be a good fit for you. So regarding the African applicant type, it's for nonprofit, but like we always say, just because it's for nonprofit does not mean that if you're an individual and you have a passion for any of these field of work, you can partner with a nonprofit and together you can definitely work on it together. And then the funding can be used for education, outreach, project or program. And the location is across different African states and even the United States as well, but is mostly focused on African countries. So Nigeria, Burundi, Rwanda, Tanzania, and can read the rest as well. So feel free to go check out the website and definitely send in your application. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Omotala. And over to you, Chief Host.
Please stop calling me chief host. Is this Cubana thing affecting chief host, chief priest?
Okay, so she'll call you president of educators.
All right. Thank you very much. We're back to the conversation of the day. And today we have something like a follow-up to what we actually had yesterday. Somebody has to stand up for teachers. However, we want to look at it from another aspect, which is actually talking about the reality of today and tomorrow, which is teachers actually are the future. So the future is teachers. That's the topic of the day. And we're excited that we have a guest in our midst who pretty much has been crusading some points on this and also has put together something as a roadmap towards addressing this. So, Mr. Adequaju, thank you once again for being part of the show. Welcome once again. And of course, as usual, we always put our guest on something like a hot seat. So, so let's talk about the topic from your perspective. So, when you say the future is teachers, do you agree? And if not, let's hear your thoughts. So, if you agree, let's hear your thoughts. Either way, let's hear your thoughts.
Absolutely, I agree with that positively and absolutely. And I can't better agree with that more than the fact that what I am today or where I am today couldn't have been possible without some influence and impact. In fact, solely from influence and impact from teachers and my parents and indeed the community. So, so if I'd been negatively impacted, okay, I would be reflecting the negative future. Okay, so if we say the future is teachers, we're also alluding to the fact that everything that we want in the future starts with us addressing the very now. And what I am, what we are now, we couldn't have been if we didn't have teachers. So I believe that for everything that we're doing, we must take cognizance of the role teachers play. And that's one of the things I've also been crusading. But I'll leave this at that point, hoping that this discussion can get more robust and I'll be able to share more light on it.
Thank you very much for that. I'm heading the question now to Adama. Adama has worked with teachers, parents, students, but also calls herself a teacher. I know that sometimes we hear people feel that the way to address yourself pretty much emanate from the value or perspective that the public places on that identity. So I've heard people say, let's not call teachers teachers, let's call them educators. I've heard people say, let's not call them educators, let's call them facilitators. Why the discrepancy? Would you want to share more on this? Can you give us insights on why a lot of teachers don't feel proud to even use the title teacher? Adam, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, so if I heard you, I think you were breaking at some point, but if I heard you right, you said some teachers do not want to be, there have been some arguments about referring teachers as teachers or educators.
Yeah.
Is that the question?
Yes.
Okay. Um, in the real sense of it, I feel like a teacher, an educator is a more encompassing word for a teacher. A teacher is someone who imparts knowledge. An educator could mean it's not just a teacher. There are more roles that could be described as being an educator. Well, at the end of the day, for me, everything is about branding. I am a teacher, and I am very proud of being a teacher because for some reason I've been able to position myself in a place where I do not just um, I do not just impact learners within my geographical location. I have impact on learners all around the world. And so it's a big thing of honor for me to say I am a teacher. So for most people, I feel like the challenge they're having is that the teaching profession has not really paid them or has not done them good enough. And they feel, oh, I think I need to answer another name. I think I need to be something else to get that. I mean, just like what we're saying about what I said about farming, the idea is to make the industry as attractive as possible. And I'm not just talking about the leadership, I'm talking about even the teachers involved. There's a lot that we can do to make sure that the teaching profession becomes attractive to everyone who is involved.
Thank you very much. And while you were speaking, we have TT Adosi walking to the studio. TT, good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I'm enjoying the conversation. Let's go on.
Political greeting.
Good
All
morning.
right.
Good morning.
So let's have Ugochi, and then I'm coming back to Motola, and then we come back to Mr. Adequaju. All right. So Ugochi, safety check. I know that we've been on some projects together, talking about the teachers, and I remember you've even shared some stories about your own personal experience. And now, when we look at the future, and we say the future is teachers, I'm sure some people out there might be thinking about it, that why would the teachers be the focus? Why shouldn't it be the children? And it's almost as if you are talking about reverse engineering here. And so, Ugochi, could you just help us identify why the core focus should be the teacher and not necessarily the student?
Okay, thank you so much for that question. It's simply because you cannot give what you do not have. If we want our children to be competitive in the world, if we want our children to be at par with what their counterparts are doing in other aspects of the world, then somebody needs to teach them. Then that somebody that needs to teach them needs to even know enough of what is actually going on to be able to pass on the right knowledge. So if we're saying that the future is teachers, it's simply because when we have quality teachers who can teach them the right thing, it by extension passes over to the students themselves. And so it now becomes the children, being the future by extension. Do you see what I mean? So it's really critical that our teachers are well equipped, they are well rounded, because it is the caliber, the quality of what they know that they would pass on. And as I was just saying this now, I remembered a story that got passed down about when there was this um inspector that had to visit schools across the country, and so he landed somewhere in the north, and the teachers, they had been informed that, oh, somebody is coming, so everybody, you have to be up and doing. And so while this inspector was going around, he kept on hearing a particular class so excited, reciting words so loud with their teacher. So he was so excited that, oh, wow, such energy in this classroom. And he went to check, and guess what? Some words were written on the blackboard, and the children were repeating with gusto after their teacher. And the words were danger, appetite. I can't remember the other one, but guess what? They were all screaming danga, appetite, with so much passion and so much energy. Now, it was when this inspector came that I saw that, oh my goodness, they were saying rubbish. So if you do not even know enough, then you pass on that not knowing enough, or low quality information to, because the children are basically regurgitating what you have passed on to them, and that is not good enough. So when we say the future is teachers, yes, because as they increase their capacity, they know better, they do better.
I can imagine what's going on in that guy's mind. Probably thought they were speaking in tongues or having a French class in their school or something. Danger, danga. Okay, so Dr. Watola, I know that yes, being a doctor and being one who has gone through the different levels of education structure, you actually said something about the news regarding JAM, and I want to trace that back to you. So this is it. Can we say that the teachers would have played a better role in giving feedback, data, to be able to show what regulators or exam bodies like JAM, to actually help them prepare what should be the assessment or an average spread assessment for terminal classes like SS3 or people seeking admission into the university. Do you think that teachers are just being seen and not being heard? What's your take on that?
Yes, I agree with your assessment. I think that teachers should be co-creators with the examination body. The fact of the matter is, JAM is not in the school. JAM does not know the day-to-day of what happens, what curriculums are being covered, and also there is inequality in education. The level and the preparation level that private school students get versus public school students is totally different. So if they are not going to the horse's mouth, which are the teachers, the administrators, to say, okay, like even if it's just a survey, they don't even have to do focus group or waste their money on saying that you must come to our office or something. Thank God for internet. Thank God for advancements in technology. If they can do like a monthly, I don't know, by term, once a term things, okay, where are you at? Based on all of this curriculum that you're supposed to do, where is your school at? Then you can get a percentage of, okay, this is how many schools that have covered this topic or this particular stop, maybe 70% of the curriculum that they are ready for or not. And that can guide them in setting the examination. But it's almost like the blind leading the blind. There is no communication. There is this gap between those that are in the field doing the work versus those that are setting the exam, and that puts the children at a disadvantage. And so I just get tired because I'm just really like tired, because I know when I was still in secondary school, it was still the same thing. The rate of failure in JAM, in WAEC, in NECO, in GC, and I thought it would be better 15 years later. It's still worse. It's getting worse. And so I think that it's high time for that communication and co-collaboration between the teachers and those that set the examination, because they're not helping the teachers, they're not helping the students. And I don't want next year to have the same trend of, oh, we're blaming, even if there's no pandemic, and I'm sure you'll find something else to blame for these. But the more they can communicate and come together and do assessment and say, where are you? What have you done? What are the challenges? Like, I think it's going to be enhance the examination structure and be for the students, not against them.
I think that next year the excuse might be the vaccination. So there's something in the vaccine that it's not the vaccine that affects arithmetic. It affects longitude and Latin. All right, but then let me ask Titi this question. I know that when we say teachers, there are lots of people that feel happy in disguise. Because when we say teachers, I think most people refer to the people holding the job function of teaching. But when we say the future is teachers, I think it goes much more than the classroom representative or facilitator. I think we need to bring in a bigger net to capture more people. Because if we say the future is teachers, I know that the regulators too are some form of teachers. The administrators of education are to an extent part of the teachers. So while they might not pick up a lesson note to disseminate knowledge, I think that the structure, system, and model of education is also some form of teaching. So Titi, please, could you just open our eyes to see that we're not just talking about people with a job role to facilitate knowledge.
Okay, Rotimi, you said I should open your eyes. Let there be light. All of you see. But as you are talking about the future is teachers, honestly, that's really what I was thinking about. When I think of a lot of what's happening on social media, on the internet, a lot of people are providing content, educational content. A lot of people are doing teaching and trying to pass on knowledge in terms of business, skills, all those things. When you look at it, really is whether you want to call it teachers or educators, that's what it is. When we look at the edtech world, the edtech world is actually very big. primary and secondary school education is just like a little, I'm sure it's less than 10%. A lot of it is all these trainers, go online, the likes of John Maxwell, the likes of, all of them are teaching. They are teaching you one way or the other. They are teachers. A lot of what's happening, even when you go to people that are on YouTube, teaching you how to do makeup. So suddenly someone becomes an influencer in cosmetic because the person is applying it, helping you use it. That is the form of teaching that, it's really the future. People want to learn skills. People want to learn how to use Excel, but they don't want to, go forward. So they look for someone that has put up a YouTube video or put up one content or the other. My son goes to YouTube to learn about how to improve his playing video games. He's always watching video content of other people showing you how to navigate a video game. So really, when I look at that, I said, truly, the future is teaching. The future are teachers, because people want to learn so many things. They really want to learn so many things. And they right now realize that they can learn it. They can go on, honestly, online course. People are retired and they are going back to learn something. I know someone's learning how to cook. Someone is, people are learning how to use the computer. When my mother-in-law decided that she was going to learn how to use the computer, she too wants to be computer literate and all that. So the future is teaching. It's for us to open our eyes and see, how do we do? People want to learn so many things. They want to learn so many things. And right now you can. If I want to learn how to cook one particular thing, I go online. So the future is teaching. And that's a lot of what, apart from gist and gossip and scandal, a lot of what the internet is filled with is teaching. Teaching you how can you be an influencer? How can you take your Instagram from 0 to 10,000 in 3 days? There's a lot of teaching that is going on because people want, they now realize that the learning that I need for anything how do you be, that's why people are making fun of, coaches and inspirational motivators and all that, because a lot of that's what people want. People want someone to tell them, how can I succeed at work? They want people to teach them what are things they can do to succeed in life at different stages of their life. So the future really for me is teaching. People want to learn about mental health. I'm a parent. I want to go and learn about mental health, not because I'm an educator, but just so that as a parent, I can see the signs. I can help my child and comport myself to not be the instigator of mental challenges. So everybody wants to learn. That's the point I'm making. The future is, so I won't say the teachers are the future. I will say teaching and learning is the future. Thank you.
Fantastic. I love the way Titi has taught us and opened our eyes, not just my eyes, to see. And then, of course, said everybody wants to learn. I, for one, I want to learn how KK does that at dance steps, especially.
I would.
I'm telling you, we know how many of us can learn Jerusalem steps.
KK, your depth is increasing, from my ever date to the different. I just, when you say you have an unending smile, I just kept smiling as even at graduation, KK moved from IG live, IG recorded to reels to graduation. The parents, I'm sure, were just wondering that, man, this is why if you open that school, you will sell. Good morning, KK. Only one republic in education. Yes, talk to us.
Yeah, hi everyone. Good morning. I mean, it's fantastic being such a full house. Wow, that's exciting. I mean, to be honest, right? I don't think we should even be discussing this because the future truly is teachers, right? And teachers not necessarily in a nursery, primary, or secondary school, but teachers because every single one of us has something on the inside that somebody can learn from. And the sooner we begin to understand that teaching is a part of life, to be honest, that's the first step in just breaking all of this constructs, societal constructs that we have regarding teachers and the teaching profession. And so, yes, I'm solidly behind the fact that the future is teachers, is for teachers, and teachers are the place of the future. So how do we step into that role, right? I think one, not that I think actually, what we need to begin to do is the things that we do in the classroom, right? I've been on some online courses and there's no rhyme, there's no reason. It's just ridiculous. And I'm like, come on, don't you understand the importance of sequencing? What are your objectives? So people, where are the activities? So that's something we need to begin to do as teachers and say to people, you know what? I know you want to teach. I know you want to do this. Let me show you how it's done. And then we need to begin to create those our own courses. And this is from one teacher to another, to an intended teacher type of thing, and saying, if you want to start, this is the first thing that you do. So 3 steps before, like Titi said, 10 steps to grow your Instagram to 10,000 followers. And so 3 steps to become the best version of yourself as a teacher. And then we need to begin to do that, because if we don't, then guess what? Somebody else is going to take that mantle and they're going to mess it up, and then they're going to give us teachers a bad name simply because we didn't step up to the plate when we needed to step up to the plate. So I'm loving this conversation. And yeah, my name is KK. Back to you, Mr. Rotimi.
You didn't finish it. Your name is KK and you're the one woman republic.
Yes,
and
sorry.
You dropped the mic. Yeah, drop the mic. Ting! Las Vegas, Nevada. All right. Okay, so let's come back to our guest. We have a guest on the show today, and I know that I said I was going to put him on the hot seat. Please fire him any question you have, guys. Is not the hot seat for no reason. But then I know he had a conversation with me, and they're doing some fantastic stuff towards the roadmap to the World Teachers Day celebration. Let me allow him just share with us what's up, what are you having up your sleeves. Over to you, Mr. Adequoju.
Oh, thank you so much. I just feel at home being amongst these wonderful people, having all of you speak. You make this role of educators, facilitators, and education or teaching so attractive. And I hope, and I wish this was truly the pulse of this of the sector, as it were. And so this is a microcosm, like a 1% of those that are so elegantly dignified, calling themselves teachers. And that's one of the things we try to address, particularly with some of the cry, where we've soon realized that the teaching profession is fast becoming extinct, particularly as to teachers. Okay, there's the morphing of teachers to becoming facilitators. We've seen a lot of this going on. Yes, we have people teaching how to do this, the activities or the business of business and all of that. But remember, we always used to say, and we still say it, that the youth are the future of tomorrow. Okay, so the people in custody of that responsibility somewhat are the teachers. And so they are also engineering, okay? So to those that have no access per se, those that have no access to this advanced form of learning, e-learning and all of that don't even know what YouTube is, that don't know how to move a cursor, all right, or a mouse, as the case may be. We're talking about this group, these ones in those clusters, where, for instance, if there's miseducation, that ultimately also now deteriorates and affects, the output finally, or the outcome, as the case may be. So how did we get into this space? I've played, and actively I'm playing in the business segment, and I soon realized that every day you interview someone or you want to engage someone, you are just crying. Why? Because you say, look, it's because of the miseducation that's been led to linger over time. Now, see, I have children in school. I made my son take all the exams. Yes, I think in JAM he scored 250 something or whatever. So I don't fall into that category. So when we talk about those figures, it's sad that a lot of people are below that, at the bottom of the pyramid. So one of the things we try to say is that, can we start to orientate teachers, okay, using 3 catalysts. One, addressing teachers to the point where they have dignity. Can we have teachers like the lady called is it KC, or can we have teachers that will believe that, yes, I'm a teacher, come out, vociferously. And that's one of the things we wanted to do, bringing a sense of belonging, a sense of value to teachers. One. The second thing is, can we also see teachers as influencers? We need to build, beyond building a mindset, is to also let them see that they play a critical role. Most times, teachers have been relegated to the back seat. And it also points to what is happening in the country. So we have refineries. Refineries will produce the oil, all right, the petroleum product, yet the refineries are in a state of comatose, okay? The teachers that are supposed to midwife the future are in a deployable state. They've been battered, demeaned, disparaged. Can we bring back value? Can we bring this hope back to this last bastion of hope for our future? And that's the cry, the cry, and that's why today someone has said, Taiwo, you are soon becoming an educational activist, but it's clear now that we have to just salvage the educational sector. And I'm proud to be part of you guys, and I hope that we can nurture this to the next level, because truly, teachers indeed are the future. Let me close on this. I remember a teacher way back, Mr. Mensa, my Ghanaian teacher. He used to tell me, and I held that word strongly. Imagine how many years now, over almost 3 decades plus. And he says, look, ambition should be made of standard stuff. And that word stuck with me, ambition. And I didn't even find out the meaning of that until after maybe about 15 years after I said those statements. But I always used to remember, ambition must be made of standard stuff. Ambition must be made of standard stuff. How many teachers today in our public schools, will say such statements that will leave an indelible mark in the minds and the hearts of a student? That's what we're talking about. The teachers are the future. Thank you.
Well, that's quite inspiring. I also had Ghanaian teachers, and what I remember is not ambition at all. I remember when they want to beat us. Ghanaians are known for teaching; they're also known for punishment. I had this teacher. He was very, very accurate on the spot. So if he's going to beat you on one spot, be sure. If it's 6 strokes on the cane, it is that same spot. In fact, all the other teachers used to have source beating to this man. So Mr. Opoku, once you just have people, they say there's names of noisemakers. They just say, go and call Mr. Opoku. So instead of him teaching all his classes, he will be going around helping teachers to beat. That was his own curriculum, So I'm not trying to remember those days. Our bombs have seen better days. All right. So I know you have a program this Friday. Do you want to tell us a bit about the program, and then we ask for acting shots of the others?
Okay, great. So there's a build-up. It's a build-up to the World Teachers' Day on the 5th, all through the 7th of October. So one of the things we've tried to do is to sensitize people on that major program. And the theme for this year is leading in crisis, reimagining the future. That's what the UNESCO and all of the UN have tagged it. But we have also slightly changed that to reinventing the future, because how do you reimagine the future when you cannot reinvent what is currently going on? And so the build-up starts from Friday. We're starting off with the module around, and it's free. We're starting off with the module on the individual. So we've garnered a few thought leaders. It's Pan-African across Africa to come and share as to how, first of all, we can even start to appreciate ourselves as individuals. It's going to be from 6 p.m. West African time on Friday, 6 p.m. West African time. It's going to be on live from YouTube, Facebook, and Zoom. There's a registration link. I'll drop that before the end of my discussion. But ultimately, it's also just to say, look, can we start to bring the pride back to this disparaged few? And we also hope that we can reduce the dual migration taking place. So there's the geographical migration, and then there's the career migration in the teaching space. If all the teachers disappear, okay, and then we will teach our children. So that's one of the things we're hoping to help these teachers begin to value themselves and appreciate themselves. So please, all educators, we need all your support to get all other teachers, okay, like yourselves, to tell other teachers that are not like yourself to be part of this, so that we can keep this ball rolling. Thank you, Mr. Itaya.
Thank you very much. So back to our crew, and we want to have a closing remark on this. We're going to start with me. We're going to move over to Dr. Motola. We come back to Safety Chick, Adama, KK, and we'll end with TT. So, Fee, over to you, your closing remark on the subject.
It's essential for teachers to understand the role they play in building the society and in building the future. And when they understand the role they play, they will not be defined by what the society calls them or what parents call them or the way students see them. They'll be able to take their rightful position in building the future and in ensuring that we have a society that is not, that doesn't suffer a dearth of knowledge, of learning, and of the proper channels of learning. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Um,
So we have...
For me, I'll say teachers should remember that we are fertilizers, and whatever we plant, whatever we put in, that is what our students will bring out, whether 5 years, 5 months, 6 years, 10 years from now. Think of what Mr. Itoro and our guests have said today. They remember what the teachers told them. They remember the impact of that. So remember that you have value, you are shaping mind, you are molding futures. And if you don't do it right, the future is at stake. So please believe in yourself, know that you're valuable, know that you're worth it, irrespective of your pay, your salary. Give your best, because you know that what you put in today, it has a lot of ripple effect in the future. Thank you.
So I'll just add that as teachers, that you must be intentional about your own personal growth, because it is how you grow that determines the quality of what you can, give out, how you're going to serve others. And I saw something on Instagram around 1 a.m. this morning. A teacher who I know had shared a post about getting a master's degree, I think a few weeks or a few months ago, was sharing that she has also gotten Microsoft certified. And you see, that shows intentionality towards growing, so that she can be able to give good content to her own to her students. So it's important that you must take ownership of your personal growth.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, safety check, just to jump on what you're saying, right? It's so important that we truly are intentional about our growth as people. And I'm going to speak to employers as well, right? There's a lot that your teachers can do, but there's a lot more they can do when they know that they have your support. So whatever tools it is that your teachers need, find a way to get it to them. And if you can't get it to them immediately, then don't be that person who is saying, just do it, just do it. They're not just going to be able to just do some certain things, right? So you need to step into the place of leadership and provide what it is that your teachers need. And then just to speak to teachers again, you're amazing, you're fantastic. I celebrate the gifts that you carry, but you need to hook up with somebody like Mr. Adepoju and what he's doing, because it's really important that you are part of those things, such that you can learn futuristically and you can position yourself as a voice in the education sector. Thank you so much, Rotimi and everyone. Back to you.
Okay, I would
TT.
just like to.
Okay, Adama, sorry.
Everyone has said already. Are the best learners. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
I was saying that the best teachers are the best learners. Okay, and if you're going to grow in the teaching profession, then your life must be all about gathering knowledge, learning, reading, and trying to know more. It's better to have a knowledge that you don't need than to need a knowledge that you don't have. Thank you very much.
Oh, okay. I think for me, what I'm going to say is, a lot of what Safety Chick has said. Never stop learning and never stop teaching. One of the ways to cement what it is that you've learned is really by teaching it. And don't limit yourself to the classroom when it comes to teaching. Look for other things that you can teach to other people, as long as it's a skill or knowledge that people want. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And of course, the link is there. Thank you for being a part of the show. It was a full house, really great holiday edition. We talked about the future is teachers and the future is teaching, and teaching is the future. Learning is also the future. Thank you, TT Adeosi. Thank you, Okefun Ajayi. Thank you, Adama. Thank you, Gochi. Thank you, Dr. Motola. Thank you, Finifolu. And of course, to our guest, thank you, Mr. Taiwo Adepoju. We're going to be here also tomorrow. The show is always on 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., Mondays to Friday, every time. And it's always a blessing. We learn together, we share together, we also go together. But before we end, our analysts have a special moment as we end the show, especially for TT and Finifolu. This is their best part of the show. So when we go out of our show, we have a special greeting. We always say, it's always a great morning on the Good Morning Education Show. So, Mr. Adepoju, we'll have to do a rehearsal with you to be sure that you understand what we're trying to say, okay? So that I don't get memo from the ladies. So, Mr. Adepoju, can you say it's always a great morning on the Good Morning Education Show?
It's always a great morning on the Good Morning Education Show.
So, you say I'm a better teacher. All right, so for our viewers, as they listen to us sign off the show, please make sure you like our video, share our video, subscribe to our channels, follow all our analysts and experts there on social media. Follow them, and I'm sure you learn great stuff from them. You connect with them, and then we'll make the world a better place. So, at the count of 2, we have our greeting. 1, 2.
It's
It's
always
always
a
great
great
morning.
Bye, everyone. Have a wonderful morning.
Wow,